Peter, I think the by-election in Northwest St. Andrew is far more emblematic of the Jamaican situation and probably conveys some of the real values challenge about how we think about ourselves in relation to other people, much more so than I think other people tend to pay attention to. The entrance by Keisha, Hayle, and Nigel Clark, two Black Jamaicans, for some interesting challenge. How you see it?
Well, Keisha Hayle has a very compelling personal story. She obviously came from a very modest home environment, had to deal with a lot of the challenges that the dark child has to cope with in that era, and today it continues. However, by just pure determination, she not only was able to achieve a bachelor's degree, but a master's. And then perhaps most impressive is when she took over the failing school, Padmore Primary, that was about to be closed, on the verge of closure as a failing school, 30-odd kids. She showed such a level of personal commitment to those children that she sold her house to buy a bus so that they could turn around the falling enrollment by busing in the kids from Red Hill Square, from the whole route coming up from the level back up to Padmore Primary. As a result, I think they have about 10 times the enrollment. They have moved from very few of the kids being even literate to now she has very high percentage mastery in English and math, and by all accounts a tremendous turnaround. An exceptional individual in that sense, perhaps a rough diamond, but extraordinary commitment to develop the young people in her care.
There's a part of us that likes the Nigel Clark type. You know, here is a son of a judge, son of a teacher, who then became children's advocate, Rhodes Scholar, bright at math. I'm not sure if he succeeded as much, you know, as you would have thought his reputation has, and very, if you might say, British-esque in his persona and so on. What do you think are his kind of strengths or weaknesses, as you see it?
Well, I think Nigel is clearly somebody who is also, you know, has outstanding academic achievement and qualifications. In a sense, he reminds me of the black Englishman of colonial times,
black royalty.
The sort of who aspired to be sort of black royalty. You know, somebody like Hugh Small's father, Justice Small, was spoken about in those ways. You had somebody like Ludlow Moody, Dr. Ludlow Moody, who was Norman Manley's brother-in-law, very much in that sort of mold, you know, the Esquire type. The Esquire type, you know, great English, British education, and sort of, in a sense, mimicking the values and the affectations of the former colonial masters. So, you know, the sort of classical music, appreciation, etc. Very much, in a sense, culturally contrasting with the, you know, the sort of rural, down-to-earth ethos of Keisha Hayle.
It's remarkable though that it's not just about the kind of Jamaicanness and what it means to be Jamaican that is that issue, but I think also profoundly there is an issue about how is the parliament to be comprised. Is it to be comprised of people who live in the constituency, who represent in a very, you know, real sense the aspirations, who understand the struggle? Keisha Hayle is 40 years, she claims, having lived in that country, is aware of the shortcomings and so on, versus the kind of technocrat type, the, well, you know, if you don't mind, the Bolshevik that so many of us are part of, who well lettered, who come as experts And there is a sense in which the suggestion is that the Jamaican people gravitate toward the expert type, and perhaps that's why we are where we are as a people. The real development has not taken place because more and more of the vehicles of the people's empowerment is taken away from them. Perhaps Keisha represents a chance to give the people more say.
Undoubtedly, I think we have inherited perhaps a certain elitism in terms of the profile of somebody we look for as a leader. But the truth is, if we consider Parliament and politics as a vehicle through which the various interests and sectors in society are balanced, and you prevent, for example, a capitalist class and the free market excesses from taking advantage of the average consumer, the vulnerable consumer in the market. If you are able to provide some affirmative action for those at the very bottom, if you see politics and Parliament playing that role, then at the very least you need a mix of persons, from the technocrats with those who most organically understand the challenges of the average working class person in Jamaica.
Yeah. So I think, the choice on March 12th, is it, or March 5th, is it, represents an important decision about how we want increasingly to define the project, the national project, the project of national development.